There's pumping here, $13.10 on Alpha Victor X-Ray Lima. PRTY, Papa Romeo.
Square nowhere.
Party City shares moving after hours, PRTY. BMI, Valmont announcing a 11% dividend increase. That's Victor Michael India. BMI. HURN, Huron Consulting, Hotel Uniform Romeo November, reported 45 cents. The estimate was 35 cents. 8.3 short of the 199.79 million estimate for HURN. WES, Western Midstream Partners, Whiskey Echo Sandy, reporting a loss of $1.18. And I compare with the 58-cent earnings estimate for WES.
Let me blow this up.
DK and DKL, DK.
All right, let me mute him.
Reporting a loss of $3.98, wider than the $1.87 loss.
This guy's muted. How's everybody doing? Let me do this. And this. And this. All right. Not good. I see a couple not goods. Oh, there goes Square. All right. We got a few things to talk about today. I'll try to get everybody caught up. And I got to remember there are a huge chunk of non-members on here. So on that note, anyway, before I forget, I continuously forget. I don't even have to show the site, but let me pull up Twitter. Anybody who is new to the webinar, if you're looking for further information or you're looking for free trials, private Twitter, the whole 9 yards, you can go to wallstreetjesus.com. It's spelled like this. All right, and you'll find it all there. Or if you have questions, you can hit me up on Twitter. Hit a couple of us at Sang Lucci, Spencer at Sang Lucci. There you go, Norris. Thank you. But yeah, so I don't know if we're accepting, Norris, you know offhand if we're opened up to free trials right now, or but you can. Oh, trials are good. So we got trials open if you're interested. Free trials. No credit card required. You do got to fill out a little application. We're trying to weed out the riffraff and anybody who's looking to waste time. But you get 30 days free, right? 30 days free, which is kind of a big deal. All right. But you can find all the information on the site as well as courses, private Twitter, anything you have any questions about. All right. On that note, let's get to the good stuff here. Really interesting setup coming into today. All right. And today was an unbelievable day. I almost, like, when I sent out the link for the webinar, deep down inside, I was kind of hoping that the market wouldn't rally significantly because, it would be a lot more exciting of a webinar for, especially you new folks. But now, coming off the size of the squeeze that we had, which was pretty significant, what I'm about to share with you is not really actionable immediately, if that makes any sense. All right. But again, you can learn from all of this. And the beauty of the market is, it never goes away, right? Next time you see a setup like this and you are aware of the surroundings, you'd be more inclined to participate if you didn't this go around. All right, so what we had coming into today, all right, was a little bit of selling in the indices as far as the S&P 500, the Dow is concerned. It was more of the names that we've been talking about ad nauseum on these Zoom webinars for months, right? Names like these hot growth names that just have gone up every week, constantly, right? The Squares of the world, there's a host of names, okay? So a lot of NASDAQ high growth names, and beyond that, which was a little more concerning to a lot of us, and we feel a lot better about things, even though it's just been a couple of days. The SPAC world, the EV world, all the retail riffraff favorite spots, right? That they're buying and making money, and good for them, right? But the market cannot reward the crowd without applying gut checks from time to time, okay? If you want a healthy rally, if you want the music to continue to play, right? You need gut checks like we've had over the past couple of days, all right? And even before the NASDAQ, let's pull up a NQ here. Even before the NASDAQ started to roll over here, okay? What we've been seeing some healthy price action. And what I mean by healthy, corrective price action, right? Keeping the retail sloppy bulls out there honest. We've been seeing a lot of that type of action in SPAC and EV plays. Okay, they already weren't it wasn't easy money there anymore. Okay, that's what we were concerned about, easy money. And a lot of the SPACs have gone dead, especially, post SPAC when they actually turn into a real company, whatever the hell they do. All right. So they went dead. And a lot of the EV names, it was very sporadic action. Like, there were some winners, right? There was one maybe big winner. Some were doing okay. And some looked pretty ugly. All right. That type of action could get really frustrating. You really don't want to fool around and trade in that type of action. All right. So that's what's been going on there, even before the markets really started to roll over and they hammered these things. All right. Aside from that, in a universe probably where most retail traders don't want anything to do with, you've had a huge rotation taking place underneath the hood, okay, into reopening cyclical commodity type names, right? So while, some of the spec names out there that have been red hot have been in a corrective phase, you had, names like Carnival Cruise Lines busting out, right? Airlines, good looking flow in some of these underbelly airline names like Save and Alaska Air and JetBlue. You know what I mean? So while everybody was focused on the SPACs and the EV plays, for good reason, they've been a fantastic spot to make money for a while, for a long time, right? The Teslas of the world. Mesa, good call. That was another one that caught some nice sweeper activity. These things just took off, okay? They took off a little too quick. if I could have my way. You know, you couldn't really get your hands on them. You really had to just trade off the momentum, be tactical. You were looking to get your hands on them, you know, one or two on that particular day. So casinos, oh my God, have they been coming after casinos, right? So all these names that have struggled for so long, even with the market, you know, in all out bull mode, these things still couldn't really get out of their way. That's where the money's been rotating into. Energy has been insane, right? Insane in energy. Commodity names just in general have been fantastic, right? Even a name like an Alcoa, which usually gives you trouble, had a nice couple week rally here. Okay, the banks have been strong. So you guys know we've been talking about this for a bit, and there's been this, you know, it really came to a head, I would say, over the last couple of weeks, right? Definitely last week it got our attention, especially flow wise, and then it just exploded into this, you know, to the start of this week. All right, so that's what's been going on, you know, as far as rotation and underneath the market. Without just looking at the indices. All right. Overall, you know, it got a little tricky. Why? Because you have all of a sudden, you know, S&P 500, which everybody looks at, you know, to measure the market on a day-to-day basis, you know, healthy price action and actually trading lower, right? Actually breathing while some of these reopening trades looked better than ever. And then NASDAQ, you know, seeing the brunt, right? The Q seeing the brunt of the selling. Okay. And to be honest, guys, I think it's really severely overblown, the little correction in some of these names. These names have gone straight up for months. I mean, you look at a name, like I pulled up two names like this FVRR, which has been, right, a hot stock. This is the damage that everyone's going bonkers about. You know what I mean? This is crazy. This is not even a pullback yet in my eyes, right? I mean, if you're going to have a name go straight up like that, I mean, come on, this is expected at the least, right? You should be happy if you're in this name, okay, and this is all that happened out of a poll. Because if there's a real correction in these things can get hammered. You know what I mean? Hammered. You scroll back, look at a chart. That's what I was saying in the note last night, that these things have had nice, healthy pullbacks, but you scroll back on the chart, it hasn't really made a dent. Right? It hasn't really made a dent. All right, so, you know, the sentiment out there has a tendency to get overblown over the short term. You know what I mean? You get the noise concerning interest rates. You get some little funky price action. You get the VIX, which I think finished down today anyway, moving a bit. And, you know, people are automatically going to start talking crash. Okay. But basically what we've seen, very simply put, we've seen interest rates move higher for the right reasons. Okay. The economy is rebounding. The economy is on the verge of reopening. People are getting vaccinated. What's his name? The doctor on CNBC every morning, Gottlieb, said it best. It's going to be like Woodstock come spring, summertime out there. You know, people can't wait to get out of their house and spend all their money. It's going to be insanity. So the rates going up is a healthy thing for now, right? It's a healthy thing for now. It's just when you get the media involved, they have a tendency to scare you. But the playbook, all right, and we spoke about this too, with more and more algos in the mix, there's a specific playbook, right, for certain climates and environments. The playbook for higher rates is to sell high multiple, high growth names that have been rallying on low rates for years, okay, and moving into economically sensitive, right, reopening plays. Makes sense, no? Okay, so that was the catalyst for what we're seeing. And basically from what I see, over the first few couple days here, this has been totally normal. This is not even a pullback in my opinion yet, right? This, if anything, it just started if this thing is going to turn into anything of a half normal correction. All right. So that's the backstory of all this. More importantly, okay, what we like to do, we've had a lack of pullbacks. This market has been stellar. Okay. But what we like to do is we look at both sentiment over an intermediate term basis and a short term basis, right? Because a lot of us, we like to trade tactically, especially when things get a little overextended, so we don't get caught in a pull. Okay. So what happened was, off yesterday's selling, in addition to what we've been watching for over the past week, we got really close to flashing buy signals on our short-term tactical sentiment indicators across the board, right? One indicator, I don't have it in front of me. I don't have either one in front of me. But for those of you members know exactly what I'm talking about. Tactical sentiment, right? Let's call here the bull zone under this line. We got to basically right here, right? Just short, okay? The squeezometer, which measures, I'm going to create my own word here, bullishness, the amount of bulls out there per se, okay? Kind of like a gauge. A pretty low number for low number of bulls would be under 40%. That's what we look for. Okay. I think we closed at 39% bulls yesterday. And we got to, I think, 34 or 33 at the lows today. Okay. So again, moral of the story is we had a really nice washout as far as traders' tactical sentiment is concerned. And I hear a lot of people say, wow, sentiment moves around quick. Look around you, right? Look at some of the sentiment out there. I don't know if you guys went on social media last night. There were people suicidal off the price action yesterday. Suicidal. You had those perma bears whipping out charts like I've never seen before off of this type of pullback. So that's what sentiment is. Okay, sometimes, and I'll tell you one thing, I'm making a promise, that the likelihood is when the music finally stops, okay, in this bull market that we're in, there are going to be pullbacks that even the perma bears are going to spit on and not believe in it. Okay, that's when markets usually top out and bull markets end, right? When a pullback starts to manifest and people brush it off like it's nothing, not when they're jumping out the window off a 2-day sell-off. You know what I mean? All right, so sentiment does move around, okay, drastically, but, it's for legitimate reasons. And you'll see that change over time as bulls become more stubborn and bears lose hope, okay? So anyway, we got really close to some bullish signals. Now, for those of you who are members, and again, I know it falls on deaf ears. These webinars fall on deaf ears. I know probably people got caught in this pullback more heavily than they would like, even though we talk about it every single time, every Tuesday and Sunday night. But I stress to those of you who are members, okay, if you want to learn more about the functions of sentiment, how we process it, how it becomes actionable, okay, or just learn a piece of this game that you probably never knew existed. It changed my whole career, sentiment, okay, and how I look at things. I post, again, if you don't look at the flow all day, all you have to look at is the notes post-market that I post, right? I post it on private Twitter for those of you on Twitter or Steamroom members who aren't in front of a desktop, okay? And I post it in the market update section in the Steamroom. So no matter where you are, you can't miss it, all right? And every night, well, what I'll do, unless there's nothing really to talk about, I call it flow notes, right? Most of you know, okay? And I know, who looks at them. I see it by, likes and comments and all that stuff. But anyway, here is what we were talking about yesterday. Okay, let me pull them up here. Monday flow notes here. So if you're not around the whole entire, if you missed the past 2 days, at least you still are caught up with what we've been looking at and what's currently in front of us right now and how we're approaching the next day. What are we looking for? Okay. Again, the steam room is not about trades. Okay. Everybody flocks to the hottest stock picker out there, right? Like ARC. Everyone's going to Kathy now. What they don't realize is by the time everybody goes to a hot stock picker, that's usually a time they're overdue to cool off and they're going to lose their money anyway, right? You want to learn to do these things on your own. You want to be able to process the information. If you're a member of the steam room, that's what you're paying for, okay? Me giving you the information that I'm seeing, right? And that I've learned based on my experience and putting it in front of you in your lap, okay? And your goal should be to learn how to process that information and turn it into something actionable according to your style of trading, okay? Whether it's playing ETFs, futures, options, stocks, everybody's different, okay? So that's the main goal of what we do here. All right. So yesterday we spoke a little bit about the high rates inflation playbook, right? We've been talking about over the past couple of days that if you're playing off momentum, if you're day trading, okay, if you're trading tactically over the past few days, you want to pay attention to the flow because if they're sweeping according to the playbook, that's where all the momentum is going to be. Okay. If you're trying to catch a falling knife yesterday in some software stock, okay, when all the momentum and the sweeper activity is in the casinos, you're not getting anything out of the steam room, zero. What the hell's the point of being there, right? Now, again, it's not even putting trades on per se. Maybe you avoid trading those type of names by understanding that a certain playbook is in effect. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to turn into a profitable trade. It can prevent you from losing money, which is just as good. All right. So we spoke about the playbook a little bit. Then we spoke about sentiment. Okay. Gamma, which goes into sentiment as well. Right. And this is the main thing that I wanted you guys to understand. Okay. That even though we've had pullbacks in a lot of these names, they're still a little ridiculous on the chart. But going into today, based on tactical sentiment, we should look for any sweeper buying into additional weakness. Okay, if we got a sell-off, we walk into a sell-off this morning, any sweeper activity into anything you've been eyeing, from ETFs to names to whatever it may be, okay, based off our sentiment readings, we had a high probability of a squeeze over the extreme short term. Okay, wasn't a guaranteed it would come today. Okay, maybe it showed up tomorrow in a gap up, right? But we know based off sentiment, okay, they had bears leaning too much to one side and they flushed out enough bulls to the point where if sweepers tipped their hands to us that they were buying, there would be a decent squeeze for us to take advantage of. Okay, so that was the rationale there, and that was the game plan, coming into this morning. Okay, so what do we get this morning? We get a sell-off, and we get put sweeper activity for the most part right out of the gate, right? A gap down, markets look like crap, more selling in tech, and call buyers were really gun shy. Okay. Then once the put buying kind of dried out, which was right around here, right? Once the put buying ran its course, okay, we started to see call buyers step in and do some buying, right? First, they started off again with the stuff they've been hitting over the head. They were buying MGM with 5 different hands today, right? They were buying, they bought, you know, I had no interest in playing the stock, but just based off the sweep, I played it today. That Vornado, VNO, right? Caught a beautiful sweep today. And then, you know, once call buyers grabbed the ball, we knew kind of a squeeze. Was it here? Oh, here it was, right? So yeah. So once we knew call buyers grabbed the ball, we knew the momentum was starting to shift. All right. Then I think Ani just mentioned it. Then there was this. They're going to give me trouble finding it. Then there was an opening SPY sweep, and SPY sweeps have been borderline useless for so long because we haven't had a pullback and there's been a lot of protection, right? We've been talking about that. There was an opening sweep in SPY that would be ideal if you were looking to play for a sentiment squeeze. Okay, so in other words, if none of the names that were catching action, nothing in individual names caught your eye, okay, and you were just solely looking to play futures or an ETF or something like that, okay, this is what we were looking for. All right, $500,000 sweep, nothing huge, clean as a whistle, opening, right, aggressive, not too far out, right, just perfect. Now, even if it was weeklies, it'd be okay, but this is even perfect because weeklies, you don't know how long he could end up flipping it 5 minutes later in weeklies. All right, you couldn't draw this up any better than this type of sweep. You know, hence why, again, I wanted to make sure you guys were aware of that. You know, if you were looking at SPY for a trade, if you were looking to make a play on a sentiment squeeze, there's your sweep. There's your sweep. Okay. And this, mind you, this came, a lot of us were already in names at that point. You know what I mean? That came what, at 1 o'clock, I think it was. So that's roughly over here, right? That's where that came. But still, right, the move was tremendous. And, you know, again, if we didn't get the move today, that's something you would hold overnight. Why? Because there's a higher probability of a squeeze based off our tactical sentiment signals. All right. So that's basic. That's generally what we're looking for right now in this environment. That's what I'm looking for until there's some better setups out there. Why? And this is me. Okay. This doesn't have to apply to you. Okay. But for me, like to swing a name like this, you know, it didn't even pull back in my opinion yet. You know what I mean? It didn't pull back. For me, a name like this, I would be looking to trade tactically. And what that means is if I catch a good enough move intraday, I'm going to lock the bulk of that in. You know, I'm looking to flip it. And because of the volatility out there, because of the movement, a lot of these moves are well worth it. You know, so you don't need to get greedy. So that's what I mean by trading tactically. And that's the approach I'm taking right now early on in this pullback. Okay. If this little breather that we got going on here, okay, plays out further, and it doesn't have to sell off further. It can even just hang around and consolidate further. Okay. And we start to see aggressive action like we're seeing in new names, new setups that haven't extended yet. Those are the stuff I'd be looking to swing out of this pullback. Make sense? So for now, because listen, here's the thing. If we, boom, go right back to new highs, like this never happened, where do you think we're going to be in a couple of days? We're going to be right back to where we were, probably even worse off again. No? Right? These names are still going to be somewhat extended. They just bought more time over a quick pullback. And sentiment over an intermediate term is not going to be, you know, flashing bullish signals, that's for sure. So that's why right now my approach is to remain tactical until we get another form of rotation into, you know, stuff that are decent spots. Oh, you keep hearing that word out of my mouth, spot. It's so important now because it keeps you out of trouble from buying extended names and getting caught in yanks like this. Anybody have any questions on any of the lingo? Because I know a lot of times I talk my lingo. Yeah, I would love some sort of correction. You know what I mean? I don't know if we get it. I really don't. I would love it. I don't know if we get it because look what's going on now. Because of what the Fed has done and the overabundance and liquidity out there, there's money finding something to buy at all times. You know, at all times. So that's the story out there. That's the tour. Yeah, Tesla, you know, if you were eyeing Tesla, you got a nice pullback today based off sentiment. And same thing there. Flow, you saw the flow, right? It does. It happens so fast. That's why Ani, like trading tactically doesn't bother me because unless we get a legitimate correction, I can't get my hands on enough stuff anyway. You know what I mean? So here's the Tesla action today. Okay. Nothing special. There was bets later on that were pretty decent, but there was put buying early on. Again, Tesla has seen some put buying. All right. Here's the put buying early morning. And then flow flipped. Right? A lot of it was weeklies initially. And so you guys know the reason why I try not to get too overexcited for weeklies with you guys, because a lot of you guys like to hold on to these things a little too long. And when you get into this type of market, all right, and you're relying on weekly sweeps and you get greedy, a lot of times these guys will flip them off a move in a half an hour. You know what I mean? In a half an hour. So you're holding a bet off, you know, some sweeper, and that sweeper may not even be there anymore. May have closed it out and locked in a quick move. Like, for example, this guy, you know, what you think he's going to be there tomorrow? I don't know. Exactly. David saying he played it for a few minutes a couple times today. Yeah, that's the beauty of movement like that. You know, traders love to play. What is this on my screen? What is this? What is this? Did I get hacked or something? What the hell's that? Anyway, oh, that's an ad? The hell are they showing me over here? So here, weeklies again, weeklies again, weeklies again, weeklies again, all calls, by the way. And then this thing came in. This was a nice one, 3 o'clock. You know? So more of the story is this, okay? And again, this is spilled milk now because a lot of these entries are gone because of the move today, right? The moral of the story is this. If we get a situation and a setup like this again, or tomorrow's weakness, or in a couple days from now, we know exactly, you know what I mean? You know exactly the playbook for it. You understand? That's exactly how we want to treat it, okay? And if this correction or this pullback lasts for a decent amount of time, which we hope it will, right? This breather, whatever it is, you will find names at better spots that you wanted to own, and you want to pay attention to the sweeper activity there, okay? So if Tesla was a name that you wanted to own, right? If Tesla was a name that you decided not to chase into this because of the risk of getting caught in this, okay? So you've been waiting for this, right? So today would be your entry. You understand? Today would be your entry if you were eyeing Tesla and biting at the bit to own it here. You know what I mean? But if not, right? Like for me, I wasn't eyeing Tesla, okay? I'm waiting for names that set up, Okay. And, I like to look for new growth names, new leaders, new rotation names. That's what I'm generally looking for. And hopefully we'll see flow coming out of this pullback. If we storm to new highs, there's going to be a couple of days of nice action. We're going to make a little bit of money. And then we're going to be really careful again because things are a bit extended, and there's risk of this. There's risk of getting caught in these things. Okay. So here are the reasons why, right? Let's go to the stuff we look at every week. All right. Because if you've been attending this Zoom, we've been, I've been gun shy about playing some of these names that have been, extending too far, right? For a lot of reasons. Here are the Goldman risk on, risk off sentiment indicators coming into today. And you can see this little pullback we had did nothing on any of their indicators here. Well, it did a little bit. These things probably budged a little to the left because they were all slammed to the right. So if we go right back to new highs, you're going to have all these things again. You know what I mean? That's the problem, right? So that's why what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to sit and let them sell them into tactical bullish sentiment signals, right? And that's where I'm going to get especially aggressive intraday. But if I don't catch the move intraday, I'm going to look to hold, a couple things and catch that snapback rally. Until we wash some of this out. All right. So this is where that is. We look at the risk appetite indicator on this webinar all the time as well. That thing's slammed on the ceiling. Listen, you guys know what's going on out there. You know what I mean? And especially in retail world, but they're getting a gut check here. Here's the, some of the stuff over the intermediate term we've been watching. If you remember hedge funds, right? Short, then they got squeezed. They started to do some buying. This is before the markets came in here. So they kind of got run over a bit. There's going to be some interesting signals coming up. What did they do into this pullback? If they bought this dip, which is a possibility, that's not good. You know what I mean? Because, again, they supported the market, right? The market, they bought the dip and snapback rallies aplenty. But if they aggressively bought into this 2-day pullback, we're going to be in worse shape, not better shape. So what we want to see is we want to see them get run over. Whoops. Made a mistake, get short. That's what we want to see them do. All right. So if there's another little pull in this market, if they get short, it'll be similar to this. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about because the type of flow we're seeing, like look at MGM, Hussein. You know what I mean? That's hedge fund buying, no? They're throwing bombs. They're throwing bombs. They're throwing bombs. So we'll see. This and Sharpies Friday, because it catches the early week, are going to be really interesting. Over the next couple of days. Really interesting. All right. The other thing that, would make me feel good about swing positions are these things getting wiped, right? So we want to see across the board, which we're not going to get right now because of the rotation, all these things come down near the green line, at least near the green line. You still have sectors here on the higher rate playbook side of rotation that the risk reward is not good, right? Here, financials. I can't buy them here. Okay. Maybe they overshoot because people under-owned them in comparison to tech, but I'm not buying financials 3 to 6 months out for a swing here. You know what I mean? Off a pull like that, yeah, I feel better, but not up here. Mining, they've been hotter than a pistol. Oil, they're overshooting. They overshot here. They overshot there. You want to get caught in something like this? I don't. And if you're saying, well, all right, well, maybe we can eke out a profitable trade before the yank. Well, that's being tactical. You know what I mean? That's being quick, right? If you're looking to build a position, you're looking to have confidence and patience and at least hold it 3 to 6 months to make a nice return. If you're playing front month, that's being tactical. You're looking to take what the market gives you and get the hell out. And that's the approach I'm taking. Semis, they had a couple day pullback. They were hot. Technology, little breather. Yeah, so the top line, think of it as, again, a risk reward. That's the best way to understand it. So up here, the closer you are to up here, the risk reward on a swing position 3 to 6 months out is poor. I'm glad to hear that, P. Johns. You made my day. You know what I mean? So think of it as a poor risk reward, and down here, a quality risk reward trade. Okay. You may be early. You may buy down here and be underwater for the first couple weeks. But if you're swinging a position 3 to 6 months out off quality flow, you want to be able to add into that, right? You want to have confidence to add to that position. Not shit your pants on strikes that expire in 5 months and you're down a week or two. What's the point? Yeah, these are done with a moving average because, again, you're not looking at this, Tim, as we do with tactical sentiment for a quick trade. You're looking at this for like swing positions 3 to 6 months out. You know what I mean? So you're looking for sweet spots. That's what basically you're looking at. Okay, tactical, when you get a tactical bullish sentiment signal, okay, all that sentiment signals signaling to you is that there should be that snapback mean reversion squeeze. Okay, that tactical sentiment's not telling you new highs and then some. It's a short-term signal. That's why you get more of them. So this is more of that sweet spot for a swing trade type of signal. They don't nail lows. They don't nail highs, right? Like I said, it's more to look at it as a risk reward type of thing. And you can see the way they move, right? Like look at energy over the past 2 years or whatever this is, right? Ice cold, nobody wants them. Then they get hot, everybody wants them. Ice cold, nobody wants them. Then they get to above neutral. Ice cold, nobody wants them. Everybody wants them again, right? You see the ebb and flow of these things. So that's why, again, you want to be a buyer of something you like closer to this area down here. And it's not even about selling. Like, you know what I mean? Selling, you gotta have a game plan beyond that. It's about entries. You don't want to start new swing entries into hot sentiment. You may get away with it at times, but net, if you continuously do it, you're going to get bit in the rear end like something we just experienced, which is totally normal in the market, just a wash. All right, so there's a ton of flow for members that I'm going to go through tonight to throw on a top bet list. I want to get more strict when it comes to the top bet list now that we're moving through earnings and stuff. I want to start putting like really, I want to start putting quality on there, not just in terms of the order, but yeah, I'm not going to put on there, even if they're names you like, names that are extended that are catch and sweeper 685. You know, if they're on a pullback, I'll throw it on there if it's a good looking order. But you know, during earnings season, I get a little looser. So yeah, you guys maybe watch for a pullback or want to roll the dice into earnings, that sort of thing. You know, before we start talking names, anybody even who's not a member, have any questions on anything we went over here? All right, so going into, we'll see how sentiment shakes out here. Going into tomorrow, we obviously lose that signal that we came into today on. All right, but you know, don't get so down on that if you missed it, because if there is some further weakness, you know, we're going to get another one, you know, and the more we get, the likelihood is we're going to be in some sort of breather, and then we're going to see, and then you start to see, I miss these days too, accumulation into like consolidation and weakness, right? We don't see that anymore because like Ani's saying, you got 5 minutes to buy a name and then it would storm higher, right? And then you had to chase. So, you know, we're hoping maybe we get a little bit of volatility, a little bit of chop. But as far as the markets rolling over, it's going to be tough. You know, without hedge funds in there, you got some VIX positioning that maybe can get a spike in volatility going. But I think you're going to get more of days like today than some sort of correction. Whoa, let me hold on. I noticed some of the commodities, industrial plays catching flow are really extending. Yeah, well, here, look. You know, it's, again, the names that are catching flow, a lot of them aren't catching flow for the first time now. You know, look at even like a name like LVS. You know, it caught a decent amount of flow already, you know, caught more over the last couple of days, but been catching a lot of flow. Or airlines. I remember, like, I think it was Ryan, you know, talking about how he liked Save off Action a couple of weeks back. You know, then they tattooed it last week. You know, and then this week now, a lot of these things, the flow exploded because now you get the chasers. You know, now you get the chasers. That's why they may overshoot here a bit. But there are other names, if you like, with time. Like, in other words, like MasterCard was up again today, but MasterCard is not an extended name, right? Has been catching some sweeper activity with time. So there are names. That name I played today, I honestly had intentions of swinging it, but the move I got today, I just had to take it, you know, on top of the other stuff. This VNO, because this thing hasn't moved either. This is a REIT. You know, this is a REIT. But if they're going to give me moves, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. You know what I mean, Matt? If they're going to give me moves like today off a setup like that, I'll take it. You know, right now, where the market is, I'll take it every single time. I'll take it every single time until we get a pullback. You know, you're going to make less. There's less of a reward out there, right? Because you're not holding for a larger reward, but there's a hell of a lot less risk too. You know, by not holding it, a hell of a lot less risk. You know, so I mentioned to you guys Sunday, it's kind of like my philosophy, the way like we were talking about Kathy, what, you know, her approach, she spreads them out and goes into like more slower names when things get extended and spreads it out, the amount of names. You know, my approach is to become quicker, to become more tactical as prices extend. And then when we get a correction, I slow things down. You know what I mean? I slow things down. I hold on to things. You know, so that's my approach to like mitigate some of the risk of, you know, buying too far in a rally, extended. All right, so let's talk about some names. I see you guys throwing symbols on there. Somebody mentioned BCRX. I like the action the other day on it. I think you have earnings, if I'm not mistaken, at some point here. Where is it? Here it is. What is that date? I got to move this thing is in my way. Thursday, yeah. So I don't, you want me to predict earnings, Joe? Does it even matter for a bird flu stock? Do they have earnings? You know what I mean? I don't think it matters. I think this is more of drugs and stuff, right? They got a COVID drug. Oh, there you go. Ollie's saying they got some data coming this week. So I like the action in it. If you want to roll the dice, just make sure you own calls and make sure your stop loss is what you're putting in, right? That's what you should do with all biotechs. Do not roll the dice and play equity in these things. At this point, you get some bad data or whatever, this thing will go down to $1. So BGCP, I like that name a lot. That has earnings coming up now. I kind of was kicking myself that I didn't hang on to it longer because it was a slower mover. But I don't know if I would have held through earnings anyway. But if it sells off, I'd definitely be eyeing sweepers for an entry. Definitely. Earnings tomorrow, yeah. They opened up the largest position of open interest. This is like kind of financials, right? But even better, underbelly. So you don't have to worry about sentiment as much there. I like it, $4 stock. And believe it or not, had a nice move. This thing's slow. This thing's really slow. And it's had a real nice move here. So we'll see what the earnings look like and if they have an interest. What else we got? That caught a nice sweep today, Yeti. All right, look at it. Look at this, right? This is like healthy. This thing, there's still no sellers in this thing. This is the company, right? I thought it was the my microphone, but they make like coolers, right? Is this the one? Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was Yeti microphones. So this is a reopening play. Exactly. It looks good. And the bet was a nice looking bet. TMO caught a couple of these medical plays caught some action into weakness. This TMO is really not too much weakness, considering the move. Another one is this. They've been selling and caught a sweep yesterday. Huge insider buying too. QDEL. QDEL. So these are the type of names I would like to see some accumulation in. And this is something like I would swing if they were accumulating it, This is not extended at all. Not extended at all. So that's kind of where I'm looking for. Twilio, that's a beast, Annie, I mean, it goes down one day and they're already buying up. This thing's a beast, Twilio. I don't see these names falling apart. I really don't. I know a lot of us would wish you get a half decent pull correction in these things. There's so much demand in these things, man. Real demand, not riffraff demand, institutional demand. Like this Twilio, this is the next thing, right? That's how you look at Twilio. So I think anytime you get a dip, I think that especially you get some sweeper activity, Twilio is a name you eye for these snapback trades. I mean, but other than that, what are you gonna do? You're gonna buy it and hold it from here? I can't do it, but I can't blame you if you do. All these, like the EV and SPAC name guys, I'm trying to stay away from. You know what I mean? I'm trying to stay away from, because I look at it like this. There are two good things that come out of it, right? I think if SPAC rages, right, if people make money from hearing these SPAC names, I think it becomes a dangerous thing for the overall market. I really do. All right. So that's one thing. The other thing is that they scare the poop out of me right now. I'm not going to lie to you. They're really crowded. There are people in these things. They don't know what the hell is in them. You know what I mean? And, there's been a lot of money made. I think they need to go through a correction. I really do. And they're in the process. I think they're already in the process. It's just how deep, how painful, but it's already in the process. And again, I know you guys are going to bring up symbols. You're going to have winners. I just think it's going to be more sporadic. You got to get really lucky. Yeah, the EV names. I heard this one got blown up today. I'm staying away from these things. They're crowded, man. They're crowded. Everybody wants them. Everybody's in them already. They're not new anymore. These things aren't new. Like, think about how many people just go on social media. That's all they do is talk about these names. This CCIV, I'll be honest with you. The amount of people that own this thing and that were talking about it, I can't believe it made this move like this. It shocked me. But you know what? The majority of people, they're still holding it. That's their problem. They're still holding it. But I can't believe this thing moved like this with so much riffraff interest. But yeah, I'm staying away from a lot of these things. I have no interest in. I'm looking for real companies, even growth, but legit. These crowded EV names with stories. I'm not, it's old news right now. Old news. Let me scroll up a little bit. So I get some of the names you guys missed. Exxon Mobil, a lot of flow there. A lot of flow. It's a little late now for an entry, but if you're in it, good for you. What you want now is this again for a new entry. But if you're in it, I don't blame you for not selling it. These things are just starting here. Which one, Tim, went 2 times? What stock are you talking? There's symbols. There's too many. I got to blow this up. I can't blow this list up so I see everybody's. Oh, Roku. They bought weeklies there. It was all weeklies, but there were several sweeps there. Roku. That's another one. Like, can this thing come in? I don't know how much it could come in. I could see it doing a teledoc, like this for a while. Like, I could see Roku doing this. Right? There'll still be trade opportunities and stuff like that. But as far as like a major correction, if you like the name, that's what you hope for. I don't think so. And the risk of owning it outside of a trade is getting caught in something like this. That's the risk. So they went 2 times in 40 minutes. So do you need to hold the full position? You know what I mean, Tim, after catching a move like that? Like they're weeklies. You catch 2 times in 40 minutes. I think you're out of your mind. Like, you don't want to take that. Leave a piece, if anything. But I think you're out of your bird. You don't want to take that. Gamble, that still looks good, right? I had it. I'm completely out of it. I was going to leave a runner. I didn't even leave a runner. But I wouldn't buy it here. I'll tell you that much. I wouldn't buy it here. Yeah, again, you're talking about a stock we were buying. What price was it? $8? $7? It's 17. It's up $10 from where we bought it last month. last month. You know, you want to hold it and you got a nice cushion, good for you. But buy it here, I can't do it. No way. No way. ATVI, you had a bull risk reversal, short-term bull risk reversal, and some flow there today. Again, they playing snapback. You know, playing a snapback. That's what a lot of the flow in these things were. You know, just playing a snapback trade. So they sold puts yesterday, out of the money puts, and they used it to buy upside calls. You know, you had a nice entry today on it too, if you didn't pull it yesterday. Closed right where it was yesterday. LCI caught a little bit of action, cheaper action, but, you know, at a reasonable spot here. It's not the biggest mover around. But I don't know. Do you know anything, Ron, about it? You can share with me. I don't know too much about it. You know, maybe it's a squeeze play. Maybe a squeeze play type thing. But if you like it, worth a look down here. You're not chasing, that's for sure. What else? Fastly. Yep. Well, I think that was weeklies too. I think that was weeklies too, right? Right. Yeah, Ron, the LCI, there was some spec action in it, almost like squeeze type action, cheap action in it. So I thought maybe they're trying to catch news. Are there rumors? Maybe there are rumors on it, something to that effect. But I was gonna say, if you knew something about it, you were interested, then it might be worth a shot. Otherwise, you probably get better movers than that right now. VRM, this is Big Bill Miller. Little dip off a niner. Yeah, this longer term too, this looks good. No, this still looks good. Right, the thing was we didn't want to chase. So you got a little dip here now. Yeah, maybe it's a short squeeze, Matt. But yeah, I like VRM, the nice flow, and Bill Miller. ET, that's kind of a sneaky energy play that hasn't really got hot yet. A lot of action too. ET. Yeah, this is those ETPs, the trust. But you know, slower mover, but can play catch up. So this is interesting. ET hasn't really exploded yet. Some of the other oils, like you see some of the studs, MPC. Look at that. Look at this MPC. You know, what I'm interested to see on these oils now, I want to see a little dip and then see buying into it. You know, they've been doing that. They've been buying dips. So that's what you want to see again here. You know, it tells you that it's still in play and everything. But they've been acting well. Top. Wow. You could see the right over the intermediate term, these things could have upside. They've done nothing. Nothing. My goodness. Yeah, PBR, they were buying pretty aggressively. And you had that Brazil thing, right? What they do? They cook the books or something? You have earnings tomorrow. You have earnings tomorrow, I think. He fired the CEO. He was doing some shyster stuff, right? So, I mean, you know, maybe worth a shot, because if they fix whatever issue they got, you know, this thing hasn't participated in the energy rally and could play catch up. But I don't really know the story there. But let's see what earnings look like, you know, if any further information comes out, and see if they continue to buy it, all right? The other one, I think isn't this Latin America too, Valet? They've been buying this name again, off a little breather. State owned, yeah. Valet earnings, yeah. A few of these commodity names, you still have earnings coming out. What Mux? I played that. I'm not in it anymore. But this is a minor, I think, right? Minor's catching a little bit of flow too. Speaking of sentiment, gold had a snapback off sentiment. Yeah, I don't know how, as far as legs from here is concerned, but you got some bullish, you had some bullish sentiment into the lows here in gold. Rig is a lotto on that energy trade, you know, if you want to roll the dice. But that's about as bad as a company as you're going to find. Rig. You know, you're hoping the heat off the sector takes it higher. This thing's got dead out the eyeballs. Yeah, they're buying rig leaps. They are buying rig leaps. Maybe get a squeeze. At least earnings is out of the picture now. You know, they sold it off earnings. They were pretty bad, but still some buying came into it. Your friend a newbie had 100% gain in workhorse and just gone now, right? Just gone? That's it. Case closed. A double in workhorse, poop, down the toilet bowl. You know, when's enough enough? You know what I mean? That's the problem you run into. When's enough enough? You see them go up every day. Yeah, that's you know, that's my problem. I don't do that enough, you know, leave runners and stuff like that or roll. But I can't see you get a double, you know, as crowded as it is, and you don't take some. I don't, you know, what are you playing for? What do you, those are people who they're looking to strike it rich off one trade. That's what they're looking to do, right? Yeah, Ryan, there's between, you got this. Well, think about this, Ryan. Let's think about this riffraff, right? The market sell-off has been nothing, right? Even some of the big tech names. But let's take a little snapshot of what riffraff went through, okay? They went from invincible, we're going to overthrow the establishment, okay? And we can't be effed with. They put laser beams in their eyes, diamond hands, diamond ass, whatever, right? What they do? They loaded up on GameStop, okay? They had a profitable position, and then they got gassed up by Paliopatia and Cuban, and they averaged up in the $200, $300, $400 range. Poof. All right? Poof. Gone. All right? Then they said, all right, we can do that to GameStop. Let's go do it to the weed stocks into the highs. All right? Because the weed stocks were already moving. They were hot, but they wanted to do it again, right? Chase it. Let's pay 40, 50 bucks. Tilray's going to 300. Poof. You know, and now, like you guys are saying, you had that CCIV that they really were getting excited about. And the one you guys are just talking about, you know, now what's going on? Silver too, right? They wanted to squeeze a major commodity. They're lucky they didn't get their rear ends handed to them now. But, you know, it's not even the pain. I'm hoping that some of them had decent cost on some of these things and they averaged up so it didn't cost them as much money. But it's a lesson. You know what I mean? It puts them in check. That you can't just, you know, you can't just do, you know, act arrogant and cool, and it's going to cost you money and it hurts. Yeah, AMC the last couple of days have been legit sweeps. I think it's reopening plays. That's why, Dan. I think it's a reopening play. I don't think it's Wall Street bets bullshit. Yeah, exactly. Cuomo, you're right, Matt. You know, so I think it's more of that. I don't, you know, I think it's more of that. But yeah, so, you know, Ryan's got a good point. Retail has been a nice little gut check recently, you know, a nice little gut check. So that's good though. That's, if you want this bull market to last, you need it, guys. You need it. You know, because that's ultimately 1999. That's what took it down. You know, that's what took it down. That was at the end. And, you know, even the indices now, what's his name on CNBC was talking about it. This is not euphoria runaway type action. You know, this is QE buy the dip type action. So it's not, you know, it's not retail all in getting filthy rich. It's been in the names. It's been in the SPAC names and all that stuff. You know, it's been in the names. So, yes, semiconductors, how can you not like them? You know, how can you not like them? You want a little more of a dip, but I don't know if you're going to get it. You know, I don't know if you're going to get it. Sector sentiment updates every day with a little bit of a lag because it's an intermediate term moving average indicator. We're going to get we're going to get an update on hedge fund positioning probably within the next couple days. And then Friday, Sharpie riffraff. And what I'm looking to see there, you know, we may not see anything, but you know, Sharpies bought this dip aggressively. That would be telling. If they, you know, shorted into it, that would be telling. So, you know, now that you got a little bit of a pullback, you know, those signals become more and more important. Like if you think about this, we haven't had, like a lot of these signals really haven't had anything major go on since around the election here. Later, Ronnie, that's the last time we've had, you know, where these things really lit up for us. So we're hoping for something like, again, the market doesn't have to crash. Another thing quickly that we didn't get a chance to talk about, you know, how Gamma played out, right? Gamma played out exactly kind of how the Gamma aficionados were looking for it to play out. Expiration, huge chunk of Gamma came off, opened up the door for some volatility. But, you know, as far as the Gamma gang we follow wasn't looking for anything crashy because of a lot of index put buying protection. You know? So exactly what they were looking for is how it played out. So far, so good. Yeah, it does. You know, just a lot of times you get wrapped up into the Gamma thing where you're looking for those big moves. It doesn't always translate into these gigantic moves. You know, a lot of times the big moves start off when Gamma flips, you know, when Gamma gets chipped away at. But you know, a lot of times for the majority of the time, this is what it looks like. Right? You get expiration, Gamma expires, and you get a little whoosh. You know, another thing too, I wanted to mention, we have the end of the month here. So maybe this little bout of volatility lasts into the end of the month. You get some rebalancing. You know, so you may get a little more tech and high multiple selling out there, right? And you get an overshoot on the reopening names and stuff like that. But then when March rolls around, maybe they flip-flop or there's something different. You know, but at the end of the month, you're going to get some rebalancing. Probably it should add to the volatility if there's anything left. Kathy's been buying Tesla, yeah. Kathy's been buying Tesla since I'm in diapers. You know, I don't know if it's any noteworthy news. Kathy's been buying Tesla pullbacks for as long as I can remember. I remember they were making fun of Kathy buying Tesla pullbacks back here. You know what I mean? Back here. The stock couldn't get out of its own way. Every time it went down, she would buy. Every time. And they were, the riffraff were making fun of her. Now, they can't wait for her trades to come out after the close. So I don't know how newsworthy it is that Kathy's buying Tesla dips. She's been doing it forever. Our contagion risk? Oh, she has large positions in smaller companies. Yeah, I guess. The problem, what's his name hit the nail on the head, talking about it on CNBC. The problem for her is going to be that she's getting bigger in size. It's a lot easier to do what you want to do when you're smaller in size. When they start throwing money at you because you're doing well, it's too much money. Too much money. And you can only keep a certain amount of cash. It's not like, you know what I mean, with those ETFs. You can't go into a cash position. So she's got to find somewhere to put money. So yeah, there's going to be some downtime there. There's going to be some downtime. But I don't know if this growth trade is dead. I don't see it. I don't see it being dead. I see a pause at some point, and I can't believe there hasn't been one yet. I just don't see it dead. I mean, this is, we went through a crash, and it happens every crash. These are like new leaders, the new economy. Happens all the time. Is the pullback over? If I knew that, I wouldn't be talking to you. But again, guys, I can only tell you what's in front of me. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We could get hit with a terrorist attack, and we could open up to limit down and never open again. I don't know. But I could only tell you what I see in front of me. And, I don't see anything catastrophic. Any normal pullback, I think we want to be bullish. That could change, but right now, right, you never know. You never know. We go to World War tomorrow, what happens? We're going to jump into our bunkers. And that's the other thing, like a lot of professional money out there, right? They want a correction. And when you want a correction, and it never comes, right? It never comes. Usually, if anything, the sell-off is quick, scares people, so they're waiting for more selling. All right, one more leg down, and it never comes. No, I don't have any swing. The stuff, nothing new that I put on in the last few days. The only thing I got out of Vive. Remember, I don't know if you knew I had Vive, and I rolled Teva. So I didn't buy anything new. As far as full positions in options. Yeah, but that's why I wanted to roll out. Otherwise for a trade, I probably would have taken the profit. I would have taken it and run, but I want to try to get lucky in it. So that's why I rolled out, and hopefully I'm banking on Bill Miller here now, I'm banking on Bill Miller. I'm being honest. The flow was for a trade. The trade was there. Like, this is a trade from where we bought it. Yeah, that's a trade. But because Bill Miller's in it, I rolled it out, and I want to try to get lucky. That's what. What did Vive do today? I didn't even see it because I don't own it anymore. Oh, man, I didn't. Well, I guess it's a high multiple stock, right? Came right back down to where we bought it. Wow. Yeah. Well, I had time too, but this thing moves pretty. And you know what it was? Earnings too, Tree. I don't want to hold it through there. Yeah, surprisingly, they were up more than double. I didn't think a stock, that moves like this. Well, I don't know. I guess that makes sense. They were up more than double from where we bought them. So YSG, that's that China play? Oh, came back down. Wow. Yeah, I think you got Tiger. You got Tiger in it. So they'll probably buy it right back up. Yeah, see these? Like you see this? This looks decent, right? If there's flow. Like this is something I'm more inclined to buy. There was flow here, Tree, but not in the that was a while ago now. Here. Oh no, here. Yeah, same shit. So it had this nice run, but now look, nice pullback. Is that just off the market? I didn't know. Did I miss news or something in it? Haven't really been following it. CRSR. That's a nice name too, right? I mean, you got the time. What are they? August? The Sharpie sweep? August, right? Yeah, I mean, if you like the name, you got to try to buy it here, especially you get these pullbacks like today. This is on the other side of rotation. That's why it's having trouble. But, that's the problem right now. AMWL. Wow. Oh, man, you got some nice things going on in these things. I haven't seen any of these. I'll be honest with you. I haven't seen any of them because I've been looking at all the other stuff, Ryan, Wow. I didn't see this pullback in these things like this. Yeah, nice spot again. Yala. I don't know this name, Yala. Oh, that's a nice pullback too. ABBV, yeah. That honestly, that's I think a nice tuck away play. If you want like a solid name just with time, it's just a solid stock, this ABBV. It'll have its day again. Look at it. I'll be right back at new highs before you know it. Yeah, this is not selling off. This should be in play now. I'm surprised it's not acting better than this. There was a little flow there today too again. This had a nice run too. If you remember when it caught the action into this weakness, that was a nice move. So now you got a little breather. That was December, right? Yeah. So now look, you got a little nice breather here off that. Yeah, Tim, I like it. Looks good. MRO, that's been rallying with the, oh, wow. Trey, did you buy any oil at all? I ended up day trading the VNO. I was going to hold it, but I sold it. Did you end up buying any energy stocks, Trey, at all? XLE you've been playing? Yep, solar down, energy up. Exactly. The total opposite, right, of what we've been seeing. Yeah, Kalanovich is going to print his own money again, huh? I would like to, and what, I mean, I would like one of those Kalanovich trades that line up with flow that I can just, I got some time to buy. You know what I mean, Trey? Everything's like so rush. Like I felt like you had 1 or 2 days to buy it, and then it was gone. And you had to chase it a bit too. So annoying. Yeah, that's why, we need, again, the breather word, but we need a breather. You need a breather. Otherwise, things move too fast. Meow, woof, Patrick. All kidding aside, well, let's see. MEOH, That's in play. And Woof is a high multiple stock. That's a good idea. He's kidding, but that's a good idea. Wait, what is this Woof? This is a different Woof that I used to know. Woof, health and wellness? This used to be something else. Yeah, Sticker's Bark Box. Anybody buy that? If I wasn't scared poopless out of these SPAC names, I would have bought it just because it's dog related. Nice, Tree. Nice. It's worth AI caught a Jan sweep yesterday worth eyeing. It's one order. So, if you like it, if you like the name, you got to dip and you got to sweep with time. I wouldn't go bonkers off it, but what I would like to see is, some buying. I would like to see some buying, I rarely swing trade off one bet. Like usually it's accumulation, like usually there's some flow behind it. Well, I wouldn't say that. Sometimes it's one bet that if I like the name a lot, but that's what I'm saying here. If you like this AI, that was the first sweep we've ever saw in it. So you got some time. Oh, there's earnings. Oh, forget it. I didn't know there's earnings. Oh, it's earnings. Yeah. So I would wait post earnings and see if they buy it, honestly. You know how many things I passed on because of earnings with much better action than AI? I'm talking about risk reversals that I would buy in the snap of a finger. But because of what was that other one that caught the risk? I keep hold on, let me think of that one. I could get it. Speed beat me to it. I should have closed my eyes. Starwood. Like this is one. It still didn't come out with earnings, right? God almighty. God almighty. This thing has upside too. Yep. Anybody like MasterCard? Nobody really too interested in it? Visa? Does it look the same? Oh, yeah, it looks the same. A little bit different, maybe. No, they look the same. Yeah, MasterCard, you're gonna have to. I mean, that's something you would want to swing with a little time. You know what I mean? You don't want to trade, but what you're banking that this consolidation it busts out of, and then there should be a nice move. If it gets loose, there should be a real nice move that comes out of it. Otherwise, yeah, you could be pulling your hair out of your head if you're looking, for just a quick trade. It's probably not worth it. Yeah, these things are animals when they get hot, Yeah, you need some time. You want some time. You want time. You want time so you can catch that nice move. Otherwise, what's the point? You want at least 3 to 6 months, in my opinion. FCX, I'm just pissed off that, I didn't really catch a nice trade out of this thing. This is another name. I don't know, this thing, I don't know how you're going to get a sell-off in it. You know what I mean? You're going to get quick little washes. Like this is higher rates, reopening. This is everything you want in that playbook. You buy FCX and you're all ends covered. You want metals, you want copper, economy related, reopening, inflation. You got it all covered in FCX. Shamu. That's probably doing okay now. Oh, man. Oh, that's not Shamu. I got excited. There's Shamu. Jesus. Yep. Yeah, that it's gone. FCX is gone. You know, it's gone. 6. This caught some nice action. Remember 6? Have a good night, Nilesh. These things are look how they came to life. These things. PLTR. I don't know. Again, it was. This was a nice trade off that action, but yeah, I don't trust it here. I don't trust it here. Yeah, I don't trust it here. I think it needs to hang around and do some nothing. That's what it needs. Does it do it? Who knows? BKNG is the perfect reopening trade. I don't care that it doesn't catch sweeper activity. It never does. It caught one sweep in the last 10 years. But this is the reopening travel play, right? Like if you're going to play Expedia or anything, you might as well just buy BKNG. This thing's a horse. A horse. Yeah, it was a beautiful sweep once upon a time. It's a horse. And Trip, forget it. They're rolling. You know what's funny? You know, remember those missiles? I think they're rolling them for like the 3rd time now. The 3rd time. Those Trip missiles. The 3rd time. 3 rolls already on those Trip missiles. You know, you needed a lot of patience, but you know that you could have patience off that action. You know what I mean? Like that action, you could have patience. Like they were selling puts by the pound, you know? It was ridiculous action. Ridiculous. You don't see that action come around, you know? Like you're talking about monster risk reversals, clean as a whistle with time. So, but you know, the patience, that's a whole other story, right? You gotta like tuck it and forget about it. There's been little, you know, those little sweeps, but you know, that's not what we want, Trey. We want a bomb in you. You know what I mean? We want a torpedo. We don't want little weekly nonsense. Yeah, look, we want a torpedo. And the price is getting even better. So maybe the patience will pay off. Yeah, this name's going to catch sweeper activity. He catches it. It's just they got to pick a spot where they get excited, you know? But I'll tell you, you guys are bringing up some nice names here. Like, look at these names, right? Like at first, I was looking at some of those names. They hardly pulled back much because they've been running for 9 months. This is nice. Look at this. So, like, here's my point, okay? Like, this is a name a lot of us like, right? We even liked it IPO, Kathy behind it, everything. It got hot, it ran away. Next story. Now, look, you got a really healthy breather in this thing, right? They decide to come in and tattoo this thing with some time. You know, that's ideal, no? Like, I don't want to trade out of this. I want something, you know what I mean, with some time that I can buy. If it doesn't do much over a couple weeks, I can add to it, right? If it's a little lower. You know, I want something like 6, 9. Oh, the leaps. There were leaps. I don't even remember. Were there leaps? You know, 6 to 9. That 6 to 9 months window. Or God forbid, like trip action. That would be woo. Get excited. Yeah, you want some accumulation. Make us a believer. Yeah, you realize that though, too, another thing, XL, oh, that's the EV, right? Oh yeah, look at that. And laser too, I saw come in. Oh, not as much. Laser. Jemima, oh, you got a pullback. You know this catches flow. So let's see if it catches some flow. But yeah, you got a little pullback there. DM, I saw that, right? Pulled back. That was a nice run. That was a nice run. Got some nice pullbacks. QS, that didn't pull back, did it? Oh yeah, pull back today. Pull back today. Yeah, I'm a little gun shy with these guys, you know? I'm a little gun shy. DM is a big bill play. Yep. That's 3D, right? DM? Yeah, that's big bill. Big bill. The EV stuff and SPAC stuff, you know, there's enough real stuff out there, you know, or even legit IPOs that have been dead. But these things are a little too crowded, these names, for me. But you guys brought up a lot of names at decent spots. So we got some decent spots already. A, B, and B, did that pull back? I like this name. Oh, yeah. Earnings. Oh, earnings coming up, A, B, and B. I like this name. One, it catches nice action. Two, this is a reopening play, isn't it? Right? Yeah. And it catches nice sweeps. It catches real nice action, this thing. Even the spec action is real nice. Yep. Win. You know what's funny? Win is usually the casino they tattoo. There's been like little action in there, you know? Instead, they've been hammering like LVS and then MGM today. MLCO, been seeing some buying. And then you got underbelly casinos like this EVRI. But look how well this is doing. This has just been grinding higher. Yeah, MGM, because Tree made a good point. They also have the whatchamacallit too now, right? Yeah, online. That's what I meant to say. Damn. China exposure. I guess that's a good thing, Alex. Yep. For now, right? For now. But these things got hot quick now, you know? You got to chase them now. You got to chase them. Now you don't want to chase them. You know, you want to wait for a breather in these things. And I still think, honestly, there's momentum in it, so we can trade them. But you know what I mean? You got to be careful now you don't get stuck in some consolidation here. Because these are some healthy moves. AQMS. That had a sick run. Oh, that came in. Look at this. What do they do? What do they do? Is this commodity name? Oh, batteries, that's right. Yep. Is that a sick? No, this is not Big Bill, is it? I don't think so. I don't think this is Big Bill. MNST. Yeah, that has earnings, I think. MNST. Otherwise, that caught nice action. Yes. Big Bill is DM. You know? So you have earnings here. Otherwise, the action, you know, was pretty decent. But you have earnings. There was, I'm trying to think today, there was quite a few, these Yeti. There was a couple names that I didn't even know off the bat. I'm trying to think of them. I'll get them on the top bit list and we'll talk about them. MNST had a risk reversal. That's right, into earnings. Uber caught some action today. Uber caught some action. You know, that's I'm kind of surprised this sold off with the high multiple names. I would have thought they would be buying that, but you know, off reopening and stuff like that. Yeah, no, I don't think they're anywhere near profitability, right? I mean, a lot of these things are, oh, you're saying high multiple. I got it. I got you. Snap. This thing doesn't, look, this thing doesn't pull back anymore. This is the stock to own out of all of them, right? Jesus. Yeah, they had the investor meeting today, and they bombed it coming out of that. Yeah, they bombed it coming out of that. But yeah, so far from when the names we're looking at, a lot of these post legit IPOs, not SPAC names, look like they're at decent spots. Twitter, oof. You see, what pullback did we have in these things? These things didn't budge. This thing's got Pink Panther and it didn't budge. Look at this. Wow. Strong. Cree, there were a couple blocks in that Cree today. Same there, strong name. Question, what about the underbelly semis? Are the LSCC a little pullback? Like this LSCC, what about on? They bought them right back on. They bought them right back. Can, this thing was hotter than a pistol. Holy shit. Look, not even much of a sell-off, Matt. What does this can do that's so exciting? AI? Bitcoin. Jesus. Did you see that riot bet today? Oh my God. What were they? Leaps, right? I think they were leaps, or were they Jans? I think can is Bitcoin related, Tim. The 90 leaves. Riot, this piece of garbage. I can't believe it. Edge, I think that caught some nice action, Ed. I think that caught a risk reversal. It's a utility, though. You know, like obviously, full-fledged utility. I don't know if you want to own a utility, you know. But you never know. Maybe somebody, some Sharpie activist is getting involved or something. Always possible off a risk reversal. Yeah, the utilities have been really pretty sour, though. You know, you get bored to death in these things. They don't really move too much. Except for this one, NEE, which is not really a utility. Oh, you got to pull back there. PCG, let's see. PC, yeah, look, I mean, it hasn't really been doing much. Maybe they wake up. Maybe they wake up. We did not see much action TLT. There was a little bit of call activity, but nothing like you want to see. You know, you want to see real obvious buying. Wow, with this would be the spot. But let me ask you a question. If you want to make a bet on TLT, why not just buy up all the high multiple stocks they've been selling? Wouldn't that be the same thing? And you'd make more money? No. You know, if TLT is going to rally, that means rates are going to come in. No? Are they cheap? Really? Yeah, I guess because everybody's throwing them away. Yeah. As soon as I see even some accumulation there, even if it's nibbling, I'll let you guys know. Because I know a lot of you are looking for some buying into this thing. Wow, what a wash. What a wash. Well, we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. You know, another thing I was hoping for, even if we get a little breather, maybe some new leaders. You know, we're due for some new leaders. We haven't really had any new, not even new leaders, new names, I should say. You know, MXL. That's a semi, isn't it? I know that name. Oh no! I don't know this name. I thought it was Maxim. I didn't go balls deep on Foss yet. It's just running away from me, right, Matt? I did not. It's just running away and waving to me. Bye, Jesus. Bye bye. See you later. See you later. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Told you guys, back in my prime, I had the coconuts. I don't have the coconuts now. You know? Very conservative. Nah, I won't say very conservative. A lot more conservative than I was back in my day. Late Jan signal. Which Jan signal? Recently. Yeah. Yeah. We would have, if today was a down day, we would have had one today and we would have been licking our chops. But we had the intraday trade anyway, so you know. But yeah, Hussein, and failed signals, like when those signals fail, when you don't see a pretty decent squeeze, snapback rally off tactical bullish signals, it tells you, it's telling in itself, you know, that's a signal in itself. If those signals fail, that something large is at play, you know? So the few times that you don't catch a rally, it may be a losing trade, but it also will prevent you from doing more damage because usually it's something bigger going on, credit-wise, systemic, a virus. Yes, exactly, right? Right? It failed instantly, and all of us were like, wow, what the hell's going on, right? Like it was money every single time up until later. It was money every single time up until that last February signal, and that failed, and we were like, oh shit, this might be the big one. But then it's good because that tells you now, right after that, you go to all the intermediate term stuff. Like that's the stuff you lean back to then, you know? You rely on all the big stuff now. You want everything to get there. You want Sharpies to get there. You want the bottom nailers to get there. Chart study. This DeMark exhaustion signals. TD sequential. TD sequential, Gary. Are you on TradingView? If you're on TradingView, just type in TD and a million of them will show up. I do not sell, I don't short, Dan. So I'm not selling any 5-minute intraday signals. What I like to do is if I feel like, put it this way, let's say sweepers dry up and then there's an upside niner, you know what I mean? I won't put on any new risk day trading wise. I'll sit tight. I don't, you know what I mean? Oh, sell what I'm holding? I don't really, if it's in individual names and stuff like that, I don't really go by that too much. because, you know, that's the overall market. Look, some of the names we own, you know, they rip when the market does nothing, you know? So I wouldn't use it too much for sell signals on individual names. You know, if you want to try to get the overall market, the wind at your back on the buy side, that's where it comes most in handy, you know, during real time hours. You know, like here this morning, you know, right off the open, you had a little bit of a niner. And then I like to use, like you were asking, like a lot of this oversold, overbought stuff that lines up with niners and flow, you know, that sort of thing. You know, they usually make nice signals. Yeah. And same thing, like you see here, like, for example, you have, let's say you caught the squeeze today, right? Let's say you put on based off sweeper activity sentiment. You know, this came late in the day, but hypothetically, you know, here you would raise stops and be smart, right? You don't want to lose this now if you're day trading. So you ran into this upside niner. At the least, there might be some consolidation, you know? That's kind of how you want to use it. I wouldn't use it as exact buy sell signals. Yeah, so you know what I mean? Use your judgment depending on, you know, what you're in and stuff. You know, if you got nice profits, you don't want to lose it. You know, a lot of times, like putting on new entries, I wouldn't, you know, I don't like to do it into that. You know, I like to see if there's any selling first. So that sort of thing. TMO raises a dividend. Is it you getting a pop of that? TMO, this thing cooled off pretty significantly. This thing was a hot commodity, Thermo Fisher. Yeah, and look though, not much of a pullback just recently. Yep. All right, guys. Members, I'll update some of the flow. Give me a chance to get around to it, a lot of it. All right, but for the rest of you, I appreciate you stopping by. We do this every Tuesday. If you have any interest, wallstreetjesus.com. All right, good luck the rest of the week. Stay safe out there, guys.